Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everything in between, and welcome to a very special Q&A with a guest, who's not Kieran actually. This is a completely different guest. Isn't that exciting? He's American as well. His name is Theodore. Say hello.
Hi, how's it going? Kieran and I, we were just walking down the street trick-or-treating, and we got to Fred's house, and he sweeped me in the door, and here I am.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that no one tells you is that Sweden, America, and Britain are very close together.
Yes, it is almost like walking distance from our houses.
Yeah,
I can actually see Fred like from my window. I'm waving to him.
Yeah, I'm waving back, sure.
Yeah.
This the government's fault. The governments of various countries want to make borders seem more difficult to pass, but they're not actually really.
They put out all these maps. It's like there's an ocean, you can't go there. They want to charge us for plane tickets across nothing.
Do you know what the Atlantic Ocean really is?
Tell us.
It's just a street. It's just a street.
Atlantic Street.
Yeah.
No big deal.
Yeah.
Cross it all the time.
And you know that's why you don't really celebrate the Columbus Day anymore, because you know why should you celebrate him? He just passed.
Not a big deal.
Yeah.
He just figured out how to cross the street.
I mean, Leif Erikson was more impressive, of course, because he was Viking. But
yeah,
back then
he crossed the street on a boat.
Yeah,
which was hard.
Yeah, but back then it was more difficult, you know. And
it was a busy street.
Yeah. Anyway, this this is just the normal Q&A. It's a bit longer because I have a guest with me, and this is sort of my way of getting to know people. This is what I did with Kieran first when we met over Twitter, and then through internet working together, and we did the Q&A, and then we did a podcast. And Theo here, we are doing live streaming with him, me and Kieran. Yeah. And I thought, you know, this is a nice thing to do. He has quite a good voice, so he could possibly do a Q&A with me, and people might be interested in listening to that.
I have lots of answers ready for these people, and I hope I can impart some knowledge, and I hope they take something away from this. All these answers I'll give them.
I mean, the problem is that many of these questions come from Tumblr, so they're not really that important questions. So this is sort of pointless. All of this. And to prove that this comes from Tumblr, the two questions that I have here that I haven't answered before because I haven't been bothered, but I might as well include them now, is that do you watch Doctor Who and do you watch Sherlock?
Do I watch Doctor Who and Sherlock? Yes, I watch both, and I like both quite a bit, I'll have you know.
Doctor Who is a little bit silly, but I do watch Sherlock. Sherlock is well made.
Yeah, but I like how silly Doctor Who is. It's pretty good. I'm just gonna make sure my fucking mic volume is not gonna crap out. I'm really worried about it. It's doing some crazy waveform business. Anyway, probably should have recorded that.
It's Doctor Who. It's the Daleks.
Oh my God, there's a TARDIS in my room. No. Yeah, I like Doctor Who. My dad watched it when he was a little kid, and then he sat me down to watch the new one, and I'm a big fan. 2 thumbs up.
I remember trying to sit down and watch some Tom Baker Doctor Who because they were shown sort of reruns. I'm not that old. People always assume that I'm in my 40s. I'm not. But I sat down trying to watch some of those reruns, and they are dated. Very much dated.
Yeah, very much, yeah.
And
so, like the
I mean, even
the TARDIS on the string.
But even the Tennant episodes feel dated.
Yeah.
So it's, yeah, I suppose that's the lovely bit about it. It's sort of, it has the science fictiony feel, but it doesn't have the enormous. It has a slightly quirkier aspect than many.
It's got like the charm of a student film, almost like a student sci-fi film. Like you can see the seams of what's going on, and that CGI is not quite right, but it's still quite fun to watch.
Do you watch a lot of watch a lot of British television?
I only sort of like watch what I can get through Netflix, and that's like Little Britain, half an episode of The Mighty Boosh, and Faulty Towers. So I can't say I watch a lot of British television.
I have a DVD collection of all Boosh.
I love the Boosh.
Yeah, I like it too. People sort of, I think people misjudge it because it's so silly and it looks kind of strange, but it's very straightforward comedy, really.
It is.
It's just roommate double act sort of comedy, the sort of thing that Americans would do in the 70s with the Odd Couple and stuff. I'm not sure if The
Except,
Odd
like-
Couple was in the 70s, but you know, that type of sitcom.
Yeah, except like, you know, sometimes there's a giant crab that just like walks on screen and like takes a hat and walks away.
It's the crab episode of Mighty Boosh.
I'm an angry crab.
When Howard
Yeah.
tries to do acting. That's my favorite episode, I think.
I like the crack fox. That's quite
I
good.
think that episode is a bit overrated, really, and it's not
Yeah?
that interesting, really, is it?
Not really, but I like the artist they have for the animations. I think it's Legun, but I'm not sure. That sort of weird, like newspaper article clip out sort of style is quite good. You kind of remind me of Howard Moon, thinking about it.
Yeah.
A little bit. I don't know. Don't take that as a slight. You're not as crotchety, I'm sure. I'm sure you can throw some mad shapes and Scoobops diddle diddle deputy dap to do or whatever he does. Scat sing.
I could actually do that, but I'm not going to because it's embarrassing. I actually need to pause the recording here because I think my recording may be corrupt. We may have done an edit there, but I'm going to
It was
pretend that
so
never
smooth
happened.
you probably didn't even
So
notice.
back to our conversation. So yes, I can see why you may find me relatable to Howard Moon. I also see that relation.
Mm-hmm.
I do have a mustache, but I also have sort of the rest of the beard, so that doesn't really count.
Yep. And I bet you have sort of like a 1,000-yard stare that you could just sort of put on and look into the vapidness of space.
I'm not sure if I have tiny eyes though.
Oh yeah, he does it.
But that is something I'm worried about actually, because how do you really know? Because you don't really spend that much time. When you look at someone else's eyes, you look into what the color their eyes are. I mean, you don't look at how big their eyes are.
Right, yeah.
you?
Yeah, I've got sort of like one eye is a bit bigger than the other, but it's sort of hard to notice, and I'm very self-conscious about that. Like I've got some sort of like weird, massive, goggly eye on one
Well,
side of my face.
I have one eye one eyelid that is slightly more closed than the other. So one is slightly more open than the other, and sometimes my eyebrow, sort of one of my eyebrows sticks up.
This is
But
and was your eyebrow featured on Doctor Who or something? Because this is really like wildly deviated from the question.
well, that's what I do.
Oh,
Surely
okay.
you should have watched some Q&As.
I have.
I never keep to the.
That's
never
true.
Keep to the
I just want to make
questions.
sure. Okay. No, more about
No,
your
but-
eyebrow.
No, but it's fine. But I always assumed that you would have considered yourself to be an Anglophile. I get that vibe from you.
From me,
Sort
an
of-
Anglophile? Yeah. Yeah, I'd say so. I like the British culture. I like what they're all about. They're not afraid to get a bit crazy. Their guards wear funny hats. You know.
You do have a name from a Roald Dahl book.
What, Theo?
Theodore Dudley.
Is that really from a Roald Dahl book?
I don't think it's from. I meant it as a joke, not because
Okay.
he literally has.
I was gonna
character.
say.
I
Maybe.
did that with Dickens.
Yeah. Theo Dudley.
Theodore.
I do
Dudley.
sound like a little boy who was like trapped under the stairs by his aunt's like stepmother or something.
Well, no, you sound like his best friend.
Oh yeah.
His slightly nerdy
The
best friend.
privileged best friend.
But Dudley isn't that posh, though.
No, in fact, the River Duddles in England is where I'm from, like my family clan. We like crawled out of the lake swamp and joined with human society.
There's also a famous comedian for comedy nerds who's Dudley Moore, isn't there?
There
we
might
worked
be.
with Peter Cook. I know that's for comedy nerds. So shout out to all
All
of you.
y'all nerds listening, shout out.
All
Dudley.
of you comedy nerds. Comedy nerds are different from other nerds.
They are. They're better. They're funnier.
Fun. No, they're not actually funnier. They're less funny
They
because
like
they take
to think
comedy
they're
seriously.
funnier. Oh yeah, that's true.
Anyway, but actually, I mentioned my mustache. Someone asked, "What is it like having a beard?"
This was
I'm
me
not
that
sure-
asked this. I'd
Was
love to
it?
know. Yeah, no, but I'd love to know.
Can't you grow a beard?
I try, but every time I do, it just sort of like, it turns into something awful and not of this world. It's like something Lovecraft would write into a book. It's,
No, but the thing about growing a beard is that you have to keep at it, and you have to. I mean, because hair grows on your face. It doesn't it doesn't grow all even always, but just keep going, and then you'll have that beard you always fantasized about having.
that's like a 50s like ad. That beard that she's always fantasized about. You'll have it. Probably on your
Yeah.
face.
Well, the beards are coming back. They're coming back in fashion.
Really? Because
Yeah,
the
sort
most
of.
notable fashion I've sort of noticed is the black rimmed glasses. But the black rimmed glasses and the beard combo, that's a strong combo right there.
Yeah, and then a bow tie. And
Yeah, fez.
a cardigan or a tweed jacket.
Stiletto heels, sparkly shirt.
Yes, with the beard.
Yeah, clawed gloves.
Oh.
You know, waxed mustache.
I think you're being a bit silly now.
Sorry. That's the style that I wish was popular because that is my preferred look.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a preferred look, but the problem with fashion nowadays is that it's too extreme. Either you're supposed to take very good care of how you dress, or you're supposed to not care at all.
Exactly.
If you just want to be in the middle and just look good, and look, as if you care somewhat about what you're wearing, that's sort of impossible, because you're sort of pulled between these two sides.
People don't get it, they see like Lady Gaga dressed in eggs and they're like, oh wow, and then they see just a regular guy and they're like, you're not eggs, couldn't hope to be. It's very confusing. I wouldn't want to be in the fashion industry ever. It's like one of those things I know I'd never do or be good at.
When did you become a man? That's the next question. On the topic of beards.
You know what? Well, I'll let you take this one. I gotta think about this.
Well, it was very confusing for me because I never thought of myself as a late bloomer growing up, and I didn't see myself particularly as manly. And I had quite a high voice quite late. My other friends got their more masculine voices earlier than me, so it was kind of confusing. And certainly with voice, I have quite a my voice is quite low now, but that came as a surprise because I wasn't ready for it, and suddenly I started doing some videos for the YouTube channel, and people said, "Oh, you have a very nice dog voice."
Ooh, it is. Yeah.
What do you mean? Surely, when did that happen?
That just like made my chair shake. That was so bassy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Welcome to QnA with Fred and guest.
It's great to be here, Fred. I'm really excited about it. I can't do a deep voice. It'll sound like Grog or something. Hello, Fred.
Oh, but you don't sound like a young boy or a woman, so that's fine.
Good. Those are the worst things to sound like.
Well, that's the problem when you are a teenage boy. The problem you have is that basically you look like a woman. You're about as tall as an adult woman. You sound like an adult woman. And
that's true. You have breasts like an adult woman.
Yeah, apart from that,
okay.
that's a big one.
Maybe that's only in America.
But especially when you sort of call someone when someone calls you on the phone when you're a teenage boy and you pick up, basically you will sound like a woman.
Exactly.
I haven't entered the puberty properly, and your voice isn't fully masculine yet.
I used to have that problem all the time. People would call and they'd think I was my mother, and it made me feel so small. I guess maybe the time that I realized I was a man is when people stopped doing that. But then they still do, so...
Still now?
Yeah, but I do answer the phone pretty affectionately, so that might be my own fault.
How do you answer your phone?
Who is
You're digging holes for yourself.
Who is it? Who's on the phone? That's how I answer my phone. Is someone there? Is there a great big man on the end of this line? Ooh. Yeah, it's not good when I have to like make professional calls. People get really uncomfortable.
Yeah, I can see that. Okay, this is a completely different question actually, but what is your favorite kind of muffin?
Favorite kind of muffin? Chocolate chip. That is my favorite. But I don't eat muffins, so.
Why is chocolate chip your favorite muffin?
Because
explain. Go into the deep nature of muffins.
Just reach into the recesses of my mind and find my muffin fantasy.
That's the fantastical baked goodness that is the muffin.
I'm there now. Basically, because blueberry muffins they're not actually blueberries. They're just like little balls of hate, and they're blue and sort of berry flavored. I really don't like them. They're awful tasting. They don't taste like blueberries at all. And
I suppose it depends on where you buy your muffins from.
That's
if
true.
you buy your muffin from the factory down the street, then sure, they probably have artificial berries. But if you do go to this sort of nice and quaint cafe somewhere off in a corner, some hamlet of a town, and then go to their bakery and say, well, I want to buy a blueberry muffin.
A charming, like, elderly woman's like, no problem, dear. I'll just get that for you. Yeah.
And her very attractive niece comes up with her
and you just
big
stare at those knees.
curves, and she says, "Oh, you want this blueberry muffin?" And she probably will have real blueberries in her muffins.
Probably. Let's hope so. Or else I've made a 5-hour trip for nothing. And
I mean, I don't really like muffins at all, so
no,
I don't care.
I don't know. I think what I like is consistency, and I know that wherever I am, there's going to be a chocolate chip muffin that is just the way I like it, which is having chocolate chips in.
Well, where does muffin comes from? Are muffins American?
I don't know. They seem like there'd be like some sort of Depression era treat because they're just like a hunk of dough with things in them.
Because muffin doesn't really sound like a European thing.
No.
It sounds very American, so like cookie. Although cookie does come from the Dutch, I think. But, you know, there is that sort of cutesy thing. Because when Europeans make treats and pastries, it always has a sort of sophisticated French name or things, something like that. It sounds more grand. Not really in Scandinavia. We have terrible names for everything. So.
Yeah, lots of umlauts and all sorts of weird things in your names.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's something that annoys me actually. A lot of people seem to believe that the umlauts are there for decoration, and they never pronounce the umlaut. It never even occurred to them that they should pronounce the umlauts as separate word.
It's just charming.
It's just there sort of for fun. Bit of dots everywhere and lines.
Look, honey, it's an umlaut.
Yeah.
Let's not pronounce it.
But that's the good thing about heavy metal bands is that I always like to pronounce them the way they should be pronounced with umlauts. So instead of a motley crew, it's Mötley Crew.
Murder Crew. Murderly Crew. I don't listen to a lot of Swedish metal, but
and it's not Swedish. It's Motley Crue is American.
Is it? Oh, yeah. I should preface this with I don't know anything about music. I don't know how it's made, where it comes from. Anything.
It comes from instruments usually, or sometimes the voice.
Like kitchen No, I don't. I'm not gonna get this. It just
that doesn't work as a joke because instrument. The most common usage for the word instrument is musical instrument and not kitchen instrument.
A kitchen instrument.
When was the last time you referred to any kitchen tools as kitchen instruments?
I don't know. Like, hand me the spatulone. That's a kitchen instrument. Or the whisk. That's an instrument.
Yeah.
Or writing instruments? Or is that implements?
Technically, you are right. Instrument is a tool, pretty much. But when people... Anyway, that's just going into a tangent. So, what's your favorite Star Wars movie?
Well, the thing is with the Star Wars movies is, and I know this is heresy to say, but they just kind of all blend together for me. I think the one where the Emperor shoots lightning is my favorite.
The last one?
Yeah.
Or the middle one, depending on how you count them.
Yeah.
I think that The Empire Strikes Back is probably the best, and I think most people would agree. The one where, Luke, I am your father.
Yeah.
That's Darth Vader.
That was good.
You can do impersonations.
Yeah, that was good. I liked Darth Vader's design.
But yeah, Darth Vader's design is good. Because he's, he looks iconic. But also, I don't know. I don't like Star Wars that much. I used to be a really huge Star Wars fan when I was a kid, and then I realized that no, this is not that good actually.
Right.
I don't know why I was that interested. I mean, it's good, but it's this sort of thing.
Is it worth all the fanaticism? I don't think so.
But that's the sort of thing that I hate being this guy, but I sort of think when you have a lot of fanatical fans of, say, Star Wars or Lord of the Rings or Star Trek, I sort of think, why can't you be that obsessive about real mythology or
right?
Sort of, Yeah,
There are
especially
real
Lord of
myths out there.
Rings. Lord of Rings was just Tolkien's way of inventing all of these sort of real mythological stuff. Why don't you just read the real stuff?
Yeah, I think I was more like interested in Greek mythology than I was with any Star Wars business, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I suppose the difference is that when it comes to old mythology, it's slightly more difficult to read about it because it doesn't have that sort of one film you need to watch. But
That's
you
true.
know, but still, I always think about. I suppose I can admire Star Trek somewhat because it has because there's so much. It depicts the TV series and there's so many episodes, so I can understand why people get so obsessional about it because there's so much to go into. But you know, Star Wars is just a few films.
Yeah,
Even though this is expanded, and half of the films are terrible.
yeah, that's true.
And the expanded universe, I mean, I'm not sure what sort of quality control that has.
Jesus, I'm pretty sure you can get like a Star Wars like lamp or a Star Wars toilet. They just market it crazy. It's nuts. It's just a toy box, to be honest.
Yeah. And a lot of it is sort of pirate as well. And it's not a lot of it isn't licensed, so because it's just so iconic. But yeah, you can probably get all sorts of things Star Wars decorated. I mean, people have Star Wars weddings and stuff.
Oh yeah, I've seen those. Those are kind of I bet the first 3 were pretty cool, but after that, it's just like, you know, come on, do something original. I think my favorite Star Wars film was the Lifemas Christmas special.
I've only seen screenshots of that one.
It's pretty great.
They go to see Chewbacca's family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole Chewbacca crew is there, and they're all gargling, and I think C-3PO is like wearing some sort of baby Jesus outfit.
Well, C-3PO is, of course, a god to the Ewoks.
That's true.
Later
So
in
it
the
makes
films.
sense.
So, you know, that makes sense, yeah. Yeah.
That's
I
fine.
think C-3PO is my favorite character.
Really, because
Yeah.
that is like, I like R2-D2 because he's just like, he doesn't take shit from nobody. He's his own robot.
Well, C-3PO is actually very useful. People always make fun of him for being gay or sort of campy. But actually, he translates all these sort of languages. As I said, he becomes the god of the Ewoks. I mean, surely he is the most useful character around.
He's a lot like Christ, to be honest. Everyone
Yeah,
was
and
making fun of him.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he can walk on water.
No.
Because he's probably heavier than Christ was.
Yeah.
So he probably sink. But he doesn't need to eat. He's a robot. So,
That's true.
You know, he's easy to transport. You
He's
can just put him in a cupboard and then go.
and leave him for a good 54 years. Come back to him. He'll be fresh as the day you put him in there,
Yeah.
ready and raring to go.
Yeah, I think that C-3PO is my favorite.
And is it a thing that like people can understand what R2-D2 was saying through the beeps and boops? Was that like a continuous thing, or was that?
No, I don't think that was true for R2-D2. I think that was only true for Chewbacca.
Oh right,
That
okay.
Han Solo understood Chewbacca, despite
Right.
you know. Oh yes, Chewbacca, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
So, that's so annoying. Oh,
Yeah. I don't like those
and they have a
characters.
small sort of conversation, which
Yeah.
but actually that surprises me because of course Star Trek fans have Klingon and they speak Klingon and they have sort of made it into its own language. Tolkien was a linguist, so he made Elvish and all
Right.
those languages.
Although
to sort of work.
he made this amazing language, and yet he called his mountain Mount Doom. As
Yeah.
like, what's that about? Why couldn't you call it something a bit more eloquent, Mr. Tolkien?
I thought about that. It's sort of odd, this comic book
Yeah.
sort of introduction. But,
But,
you know, no, but anyway, my point is, that why hasn't Star Wars fans tried to make a language out of what Chewbacca says? Because obviously, if Han Solo understands Chewbacca, there must be some kind of language, some kind of syntax and grammar to what he, is yelling.
But what would
So-
that look like in writing? Would it just be like a bunch of scribbles? I imagine it just looks like a waveform. Just like,
I don't think it would use the Latin alphabet.
no.
Probably look sort of more like
BRAAARAARAA.
yeah.
I think I'm gonna write my next essay purely in Chewbaccan. That'll be
But
good.
what was was it Joyce that invented its own alphabet that he sort of They sort of look like lines, so you can look into that.
Huh. That's something for you guys to research. Are you watching?
That's how I do this Q&As. I talk about nonsense and then occasionally I make a rather highbrow reference to Joyce.
That went like right over my head. I don't know.
Okay, but let's continue on with the questions. Yeah. Have you ever held a grudge?
I have not held a grudge on a person, but I have held a grudge on an item. There used to be a chair that I would stub my toe on a lot in my house, and one day it just got to be too much, and I just smashed it. It was, I don't really tend to hold grudges on people. I like, gotta talk things out.
But that happens with items. Sometimes you have some object or something that just doesn't work properly. Let's say you have in your cupboard, you have a drawer that just don't open correctly.
Yeah.
It gets stuck and you sort of have to tinker with it before you can open it.
Yeah.
And then one day when you're absolutely out of your mind, angry, and you go up to the cupboard because you need a spoon because you want to eat
hungry.
some
your family's
yogurt.
Starving.
And you go to this cupboard and you drag it and you realize, oh, this is the cupboard, this is a drawer that's broken.
Yeah.
And then you just angrily tear it apart, and with just a big thrust you drag it out and everything is destroyed. There's cutlery all
spices
over the
all over the floor. No, all my saffron. It was so expensive.
Saffron?
Yeah.
Do you keep saffron amongst your cutlery?
I do. No, that's just like I don't know. Isn't it?
I have so much saffron. I must put it somewhere.
I can't move for saffron. It's everywhere. It's a super expensive spice. I think it's like
yeah, it is. It's actually one of those odd things because other spices aren't as expensive anymore as what they used to be. You don't worry that much about pepper. Pepper you can get it everywhere, but saffron is one of those things that still keeps being expensive.
I don't even know what it is. It could be like mummified ginger hair or something. I'm not sure.
The only time of the year we sort of use saffron is around Christmas when we make a sort of pastry, a type of bun with saffron. It becomes very yellow, and it's quite tasty for that.
Yeah, you put some in the rice and then get a nice.
Yeah, it's sort of Indian thing.
I've forgotten. Oh yeah. So, have you ever held a grudge against saffron? That's not what I've done. I've never done that.
But no. But I never held a grudge against any humans. I don't think.
And
I'm not that hateful. I don't really hate people. I hate myself more than I hate other people.
Oh no. I hold a grudge against myself.
Yeah, sort of. No, but actually, if something terrible happens, I'm much more inclined to blame myself than anyone else.
Yeah.
Partly because of how I am, but I think a lot of people are like that.
Yeah, no, totally.
If I miss the bus, I'm not going to go, oh, damn you bus driver for being so quick.
Yeah.
I'm going to go, damn me for being so lazy.
Why did I put on my platform shoes today, of all days?
They're fashionable. They're so gorgeous.
No one told me I have to sacrifice my bus ride for these shoes.
With my beard and my glasses.
And sparkly shirt. Yeah, and hook hands.
Okay, as a contrast to the last question, do you feel a lot of love?
Just in general?
Yeah, are you a loving person?
I like to think I am, but it might come across in weird ways. Like,
in perverse ways?
Yeah, well...
I'm not sure if you want to go down there.
I like to give little things to my friends. I draw them pictures sometimes. And I care if one of them is like involved in an accident, I guess. So I'm loving, but not to... I don't think any more than the average man is loving. I'm not like... I don't go out of my way to like fetch rabbits out of the street if I see them, Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that either because wild rabbits can be quite dangerous and can have certain things in them that you don't really want.
If it bit me, I'd probably throw it into a car. So
yeah, but I used to draw pictures of my friends as well, and I'm not sure if that was sort of passive aggressive thing or not. But I once drew a friend of mine. this is going to sound strange, but I drew a picture of him raping a polar bear. Polar bear. And I'm not sure what it was, why, but I think he may have said something about along those lines. So I drew that, and it took me about a few hours. I made it very good. It looked very much.
It was like a great. It was like Sistine Chapel level work you did. It's like your masterpiece.
Yeah, with ink and paper. So imagine just how much time I spent on this.
Yeah.
And everyone laughed, and I laughed, and this is sort of sociopathic thing you do when you're a cartoonist as a teenager. If you can draw as a teenager, you have a tendency of drawing very cruel drawings.
Yes. Yes, I totally. Like, all the cartoons you see not made for, like, Yogscaster films or something, they all have, like, elements of some pretty horrendous stuff, you know? There's lots of gore and sex, and it's just not for me, to be honest.
Yeah, it's kind of it's a bit strange. I'm not really that loving person. I think that I'm slightly less loving than most. But you know, at the same time, as I said, most of my hatred is aimed at myself. So I'm not really that. I'm quite benign. I'm not cynical in that way. I don't go around attacking people.
No,
I'm just a bit introverted and a bit reserved.
Yeah. Well, I mean. So, a loving person, no. Not to yourself, but to others. I'm a little bit confused by that question because, you know, I think we could go into a whole conversation as what is love and how do you define that, you know?
What is love? Baby, don't hurt me.
Don't hurt me.
No more.
Can we just smash cut to the music video of that?
Yeah.
That would be great.
I think they have a few copyright laws on that
probably.
one. I'm not sure how you do it in America. I'm sure you're very liberal
no.
on this whole copyright thing.
I was singing a Disney song yesterday and I got beat up by the copyright police, so our laws are very strict.
I thought you were going to say I was beat up by the school's bullies,
No.
which would have made more sense.
Oh yeah, well that happens too. But that's like for other things. That's for like wearing Nazi propaganda and stuff.
Surely the bully is sort of a vigilante fighting against the Nazis of the school.
Really it's me that's doing the social injustice here. They're just like being decent people.
Because in Europe, when you have Nazis, they're usually skinheads, so they are usually the ones who go around beating up people. It's not the other way around, but it's nice to hear that that's the way things are done in America.
Yeah, I should stop doing it. I don't know why I do it. I'm not a Nazi. I just
I
just like attention.
like the style.
Yeah, I just like the style.
The style of the Nazis. You know,
yeah.
The uniforms. And
very flashy. Very sort of, you know, I put a little lipstick on as well, maybe some eyeliner. Sort of
it's not like as if you're anti-Semite. You just don't like the Jews, that's all.
No.
You know?
Yeah, you know what? I don't have an opinion, but not a fan.
Yeah.
I'm just... No, maybe bleep that. I don't want people thinking I'm anti-Semitic. That could get me in trouble.
I don't think people will.
Okay, good.
You know, we might as well just take the moment to say, you know, all the Jews of the world.
Listen up.
We apologize for hundreds of years of people behaving treating you badly.
Whoops.
The amount of anti-Semitism that's been around in Europe. I apologize for it, and I'm Swedish. And Theodore Dudley, who is an
American-English hybrid.
New York.
Yep.
He says sorry as well. So
I say, whoops. Sorry.
That's done.
Yeah, let's put the whole issue to bed.
Okay, before I have a lot of questions that are about your favorite. What is your favorite? This and that. But the last sort of normal question is: are you happy?
Am I? Oh, that cuts deep. I suppose in sort of a, I am happy, but there are things that I could have or do to make me happier. But as I am, I'm all right.
Do you try to have a Buddhist view of the world? That although there are many things that you want, it's not what's going to determine your feelings of the world.
I think, you know, if people like to be around me, that makes me happy. And this is making me happy right now because look, I'm talking to Fred Malm. Yeah.
And at least 100 of viewers.
Yeah. One or two out there. Hi guys.
Hi.
You guys want to be around me, right? All the time? You guys
I think they want to be around me.
Oh.
You're sort of invading their privacy right now.
No.
I think.
Oh,
Should back off. You're
Okay.
staying too close.
I was just whatever. Okay, I'm gonna back off. Gonna take my hands off their thighs. There we go.
Yeah, and
Sit
also
back.
you give them back their wallets.
Nah, that is where I'm gonna have to say no because
Give them back their wallets now.
fine.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
great.
Okay, I won't invite Theodore Dudley back here again if he behaves the same way. So you can.
I'm on the edge
relax.
here.
Yeah.
I'm on thin ice.
Yeah, but it's very difficult to say what happiness is or how to feel happy, because I'm not that happy. But that's because of obvious reason. I'm a neurotic mess. But I still think that everyone has everyone can find their own take on happiness. Everyone can feel happy the way that sort of everyone can find their own way in life. I think that's my point. And because we're all going to die. And there is no meaning to life.
One of you.
We are all going to rot. You might as well do what you want.
Yeah.
There's no rules really. No. I mean, apart from the laws. I mean, the laws are quite important to follow.
Yep.
But you can do whatever you want. If you want to become a woman, become a woman. If you want to
true.
take drugs, take drugs.
Do all the drugs.
If
Do
you want
drugs
to
right
marry
now.
a giraffe, marry a giraffe. You can do whatever you want.
As long as it's consensual. Because then you just be raping an animal, and that's real. That's like really bad.
I mean, I'm betting that if you do want to have sex with a giraffe, you're probably aware of what a giraffe is like when he is consensual or when he agrees with you. Mm-hmm. So that's probably not a problem.
Probably no. Yeah.
Unless you just want to rape an animal, and then
in which case maybe don't do that. Maybe that's the thing you don't do.
Maybe a giraffe would be a difficult animal to just rape. Maybe you should try something easier.
There are easier animals out there than giraffes.
I suppose the giraffe are quite phallic with a sort of long neck, so maybe that's what interests you.
The long, elegant neck. Oof. At a zoo, just sitting on a park bench with a newspaper on your lap.
Or you could go with horses and sort of recreate that play. Equus.
Yeah. I don't know if that's about sex with a horse, is it? I think that's just about being naked around horses.
No, that has quite a bit of sexual nature with horses. I don't think it has active sex on stage with horses, but the main character has sort of sexual fantasy about horses.
Right. Well, we've all been there.
Not me, actually.
Neither have I. So.
Okay. Okay, we're gonna go into a list of our favorite stuff.
Sure.
So, the first one is actually favorite color, but we might as well skip to the second one, which is favorite animal.
Yeah.
Now that we're talking about animals, so what's your favorite animal?
You might think because my handle is Digifinch that I like finches. That, however, it is not the case.
Really? Oh my god!
Not the case at all. I'm a big fan of cockatiels. I like their style. I like what they got going on upstairs.
I like a bird. There's a bird that I like, and I like it because it's part of my favorite book, which is Last Chance to See by Douglas Adams. Mm-hmm. I don't mind making commercials for that book because it's fantastic. Mm-hmm. But there's a bird in New Zealand, a sort of flightless bird, a parrot called the kakapoo.
Oh yeah.
And I love that animal.
Oh yeah.
I think that's my favorite animal.
That's good. That or the putu. Have you ever seen a putu?
No.
It's got the eyes of an owl, but it's got this massive mouth that reaches around.
Well, I have seen that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, but I also like. I mean, if we're going to take a slightly less endangered animal, because the kakapoo is critically endangered, but I also like ravens and crows and all that. I know that makes me sound a bit gothic.
I can just imagine you with eyeliner and a fedora staring out the window, writing poetry about crows and ravens. You can
yeah. No, actually, I understand that sounds a bit gothic, but the reason why I like those sort of crow birds is because they are actually quite intelligent. They are like they're the most intelligent non-mammal. I believe, and they're quite a bit intelligent than most mammals.
Yeah, definitely.
For example, the magpie is the only non-mammal animal that is capable of recognizing itself in a mirror.
No, only non-mammal?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I did not know that.
I believe it's only non-mammal, but that's quite interesting. I mean, that's quite an interesting test.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I wasn't able to recognize myself in the mirror.
Oh,
I was very frightened of my own reflection.
Really?
So I suppose when I was a kid, I was stupider than a
magpie was cleverer than Fred Malm as a child.
Yeah.
Huh. They say that dogs possess a level of intelligence of a 3-year-old, and I quite like dogs.
I think dogs may be one of those animals who recognize themselves.
I don't know, because I've put my dogs up to a mirror and been like, look, this is you, and I'm that guy.
It might be dogs. It might also be cats. I'm not sure. I don't want to enter that sort of territory. I don't want to create an argument between cats and dog people.
It's true.
Because that's dangerous.
We've already rumbled too many, races and creeds already.
Well, it's just the Jews. Who care about the Jews?
Oh, no. You can't say that, Fred. We'll get in trouble.
What's your favorite color?
It is, I'd have to say, sort of a deep purple. There's a lot going on there.
Because of the band?
Is there a band called Deep Purple?
Yeah.
I should listen to them then.
Oh, yeah.
They
made a very famous song called Child in Time. I'm consciously avoiding saying smoke and water for comical effect.
Okay. Oh, man. I have too much of that.
I'm not sure if I have a favorite color. I did a rant on this before. Because, no one would ask you what's your favorite tone or what's your favorite taste. People sort of assume that, yes, what's your favorite piece of music, what's your favorite food. People assume that, yes, in those sort of areas, it's about the whole experience.
Right.
You don't just listen to a tone over and over again in your ear. You listen to a bit of music.
Oh my god, imagine if, you picked at someone's iPod and looked at it and it was just, tones. It was just that would be so freaky. That would be weird. No, yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, that would be quite strange. But but still, I don't. You don't just look at a color for a few seconds and go, "Oh, that's a nice color."
Yeah.
You look at a drawing or a painting or a photograph. There is some sort of composition that works.
Nice exposure. Look at the exposure of the photograph.
Yeah.
Nice colors going on there. Right now, if I look at my window, I'm seeing a lot of orangey reds because all the trees are dying and stuff like that. And a nice gray sky, a very English sky actually, and it works quite nice.
That's a typical sort of Anglophiliac response. Oh, it's a grey sky. It must be an English sky. Whereas in Sweden, there is grey skies year round. We are so used to it there. It's not a particularly English thing.
Yeah, but this is like an Earl Grey sky that I'm looking at. That's how I define the cloud cover here.
It's almost dark. It's about to be sunset here.
Oh, how romantic.
No, it's actually not romantic because it's grey skies, as I said.
Oh.
So you have to be on a sort of airplane to see the romantic aspect of it.
Right. It's apathetic. A very apathetic sunset.
Yeah. Anyway, let's continue. What's your favorite country?
Favorite country? Now what you're gonna think I'm gonna say is England, because of the Anglophile-ness of me. But I'd have to say that I went to Amsterdam in the Netherlands. And it's just like party central over there. It's crazy. They're just like homeless people playing soccer in the street, children eating dirt off the ground. It's great. I'd live there.
Are you sure you weren't just high?
I'm pretty sure. I was with my dad. But
are you sure he wasn't just high as well?
he might have been. We did.
And then you went to Red Light District.
Yeah, Red Light District. That's what we called it.
I actually don't like those type of jokes because I think it's unfair to Amsterdam to just sort of make them out to be the Vegas of Europe.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of other things. You can go to the Van Gogh
Yeah, you can
Museum.
go to the
You can
Anne
go
Frank
to the
house.
Rembrandt Museum.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this, yeah, and Frank's house. There are many museums and many interesting things in Amsterdam.
Yeah, like the Anne Frank anime they were playing at the Anne Frank Museum, and
Have they really?
Yep.
Oh goodness me!
I wanted to walk out right then and there.
But yeah, but that makes me think there was a controversy earlier this year when Justin Bieber had written, you know, I'm sure you had been would have been a fan of me or something like that.
Yeah.
But if they already have a Anne Frank anime, then surely they can't complain about Justin Bieber being disrespectful.
Well,
because clearly they are disrespectful from the start.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. That is pretty disrespectful to make an anime out of like a horror, like the Holocaust. But I hate to defend the Biebs, but I think the curators sort of like bullied him into saying that. He was sort of saying, you know, oh, Anne Frank was a huge fan of popular culture. I bet she would have been a fan of yours. And he put, you know, and so he put in the thing, you know, cool to meet her, or not meet her if she was still around. I wonder if she'd be a believer or something like that. I mean, it's really like totally inappropriate and quite short-sighted and really quite rude, but you know, he's a dumb kid.
What I was about to say actually about the whole Justin Bieber thing is that, you know, do you know how people make, and I don't know anything about this type of music that they make, but do you know how people do all this sort of hateful stuff about Miley Cyrus, now for being so sexual? Isn't that what Bieber has been doing for the last few years?
Yeah.
He goes on stage sort of half naked with tattoos and everything.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's,
he's a bit controversial. He does a few stupid things now and then, but he seems like someone who's sort of jumped the shark.
I think
so
it's a bit more sort of. People are more angry about Miley Cyrus because she had that Disney show where, like, you know, all these kids knew her as being this funny, quirky, you know, young lady, and then they see her like naked on a wrecking ball smashing through buildings. It's quite, you know, it's quite a stark juxtaposition there.
Well, yeah, it's kind of difficult not to sort of see a slightly misogynist aspect of it, though, because she's the woman, and when women sort of gets half naked and sort of overtly sexual, that is immediately considered more shocking than when Bieber does it. And Bieber looks like, you know, he has this permanently stupid grin on his face, sort of confused face, so half open mouth, and the fact that he sort of puts his baseball cap on backwards looks hilarious to me. Is this a sex symbol?
I don't know. It makes me kind of angry, to be honest. His stupid face. I think it's you know, he's appealing to the biggest online demographic as well as the biggest sort of music consumption demographic, which is teenage girls. And so, you know, he's got the dumb bad boy face and the hat weird and, you know, pants. These damn kids with their pants and their music.
Yeah.
What's wrong with them?
But yeah, I don't really mind the fans because it's just the Beatles, you know, and people always compare it to the Beatles, but that's sort of actually true. The Beatles had quite stupid fans following them around, and the Beatles weren't that sophisticated at the beginning of their career. But yeah. But it's one of those things as well. I mean, people blame Bieber on America, but he's actually Canadian.
He's a Canadian product. There have been lots of Canadian actors and actresses that have like flipped their lid. Like Charlie Sheen, I'm pretty sure he's Canadian.
I don't actually think that's true because he's like Latino. Actually, he's like Emilio Estevez.
Whoops.
Which is not that Canadian.
Never mind.
But you know, there's plenty of Canadians or people you don't suspect to be Canadians, like Jim Carrey.
Or Michael
Canadian.
Cera.
Several actors. There's now I can't think of any other actors.
Michael Cera and Wolverine from the X-Men. No, he's like New Zealandish. Never mind.
Hugh Jackman is Australian.
Yeah.
But Wolverine is Canadian.
Yeah.
The Canadian superhero.
Yeah, he's a log cutter, right? That's what he uses his big claws for, is chopping down trees.
I don't think that's how you take down trees. I think that's more how you sort of clear out shrubbery and things like that. I think that's what Wolverine did.
Yeah, he was a shrubber for a while.
What's your favorite film?
Well, I'd have to say Inglourious Bastards. I'm a huge Quentin Tarantino fan.
I quite liked Inglourious Bastards.
And it was action. Like, I could say a more arty film and like show people how intelligent I think I am. But
Quentin Tarantino is still a good filmmaker. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's doing. And Inglourious Bastard isn't like a stupid action film.
No.
It's kind of slow paced. I mean, I really like. I think that the first few minutes of Inglourious Bastard, the first sort of long scene of Christoph Waltz interviewing that French farmer, that's really well done. Just sort of slow, and the dialogue,
Monsieur
and
Lafayette,
the pipe, the pipes bringing out the pipes, and the size difference, and
the
milk, sort of symbolic nature of it, and just this so slow way the camera moves around. Yeah, that's really well done.
It's
so that's
really
sort
good
of
cinema. I love it.
Yeah, I don't think any film snob would criticize Tarantino.
Yeah. There are, I think, most of the flack he gets is just for being sort of almost, if you like read a book, like a film book, and just took the action and thriller bits, he pretty much just does everything. They're long takes and sort of.
He's kind of pick and mix in a way.
Yeah,
he doesn't really have one style. He just does everything.
Yeah, he likes layering text over the film a lot, which is sort of weird.
I mean, I talked about this before, but I quite like Stanley Kubrick a lot. So my favorite film probably would be. It changes, but I might say it's Eyes Wide Shut. His last film. I quite like that one. It gets a lot of flack, but mostly because it stars Tom Cruise, and people think that's Stanley Kubrick selling out. Yeah, there he has Tom Cruise in the main role.
How dare!
The fact is that Tom Cruise is a very good actor. What's your favorite word?
Oh, favorite word. It would have to be. Oh damn! I was just thinking about this the other day. Obsequious.
All right, that's a nice word. I thought about this. Something I realized, I think, last summer, not that the summer just been, but the last summer, is that I like the word enthusiasm and enthusiast on the basis that I can sort of, like a lot of words, you can't necessarily always guess what the word means if you haven't heard it before. You have to look up in definition.
I'm looking up obsequious right now.
But I think enthusiasm is one of those words that I think it fits what it means perfectly. I don't even think I would need, if I had heard the word enthusiasm for the first time, I don't think I would need to look it up in a dictionary. I would just understand what it means.
Yeah,
it's just this sort of perfect word, enthusiasm.
Enthusiasm.
I'm an enthusiast. It just sounds like something you take joy out of.
I don't know if you said it like that. That would be kind of confusing.
I'm an enthusiast.
I'm enthusiastic. Oof.
Oh.
Let's see. It is obsequious is a funeral rite or ceremony. Huh. So it's. Huh.
Nice word you picked. That's a very nice word.
Of enthusiastic. It does sound sort of ominous, obsequious.
But I'm trying to find. I try to find a better word than enthusiast. I made a list a long time ago, but I keep forgetting it. I think a word that I like is. I like the word methinks.
Methinks.
If you write me and things as one, I sort of picked that up, and I think it's nice to add. The weather is fine out today. Methinks.
Yeah. It is. It's like adds like a charm to what you're saying.
Oh, I think I should go to the store and buy a cup of coffee. Methinks.
I gotta say, I also like cantankerous, just because of the way it sort of like rolls out of your mouth. Because it's got like the hard C, and then it lands on the N.
But there's the two words that came from The Simpsons that I like as well, because I think they're actually in dictionaries now, and it's cromulent and ambigun. Ambigun. What's the phrase? The motto of Springfield was, "A noble spirit embiggens the smallest man."
Huh.
I think that was the motto they used. And embiggen. I like that.
Embiggen. Huh. Oh, that's. I don't like the way that sort of pop culture lingo has worked its way into actually being in, dictionaries. Like, I don't know, like blogging. I guess that's sort of a word.
Well, blogging works quite fine. I don't like. What I don't like is
Like twerk or lol.
yeah, I don't. Well, yeah, but I also don't like Twitter and stuff like that. Blog is fine because it's just I think it's derived from blog, sort of whatever. But when you actually bring in brand names, it becomes a bit more difficult, especially when it's Twitter, and Twitter is such a stupid brand name. There are some words that in English and Swedish as well that used to come from a brand name, like escalator, I believe, is an example.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, I believe that came from a brand word.
Like, hand me a Kleenex. That's the kind of thing. Yeah.
And aspirin in English, I think.
Yep.
And in Swedish, we call gas stations Mac, because there was a company called Mac that used to sell petrol, and now we call all gas stations Mac, and I quite like that. But Twitter is such an awful name.
You don't like Twitter?
I'm just gonna tweet this.
I should totally tweet where I am right now.
I'm going to be a bird, and I'm going to tweet. That's the problem I have with that.
Yeah, I don't like when people like take time out of a conversation to like mention what's going on in Twitter. It's like, or they like quote something that's happening, like an inside joke, and put it on Twitter, because that's just like, you could just do that later or not at all.
Yeah.
You don't need to prove to the world how good of a time you're having.
Yeah, I think Twitter. I never understood that with people who take photographs of themselves in parties and something like that. I'm in a party.
This party's crazy. Lol.
And that's why I have time to take photographs of myself in the corner.
Hashtag Halloween. LOL.
I never hashtagged anything on Twitter.
And
I don't really use Twitter that much.
Oh my god. You're going to hate this. In one of my classes, I have to live tweet. How dumb is that? It's awful.
That's just stupid. And what do you do with students who don't have Twitter then?
They have to get Twitter.
Fuck that.
They have to make a Twitter account for the class.
That's just offensive.
It is pretty bad, because it's like you have to show us that you're taking notes and you're like listening. So instead of being a responsible student and making the most out of your college career, you're gonna have to tweet all your notes.
Yeah.
It's
that's disgusting.
Yeah, it's
anyway,
pretty vile.
There's one left here. But you said you don't like music, so I'm not sure what you're going to answer this one with. But what's your favorite music? What's your favorite band, composer, artist, tune, the melody?
I'd have to say, well, when I said I didn't like music, I mean that, like, I'm just not, people can like mention bands and like talk about their favorite bands and people in bands. I can't do that. I can think of funny band names, but that's like
what do you consider to be a funny band name?
Like, I have got a cappella screamo band called Fistful of Ear, or Earful of Fist, and I think that's all right. And
an a cappella screamo band, would they have a cappella? Would they have 4 members then, like a barbershop quartet?
But it'll all be like scream music. Earful of fists.
It'd be nice. It's like it has the harmonies.
Yeah, it's like, you put your fireplace on, you have your whole family around the fireplace, and you just put that on, some a cappella scream music. With grandma in the rocker and little baby Johans in her lap.
All right. You're very creative with names. I quite like. I know this is going to make me sound 40 again, but I quite like classical music. I quite like jazz, a bit of folk, and a bit of sort of experimental avant-garde stuff when I feel like it.
The thing is,
I recently.
No, go ahead.
Yes, what?
No, go finish your thought.
I've recently listened to Swan Lake by Tchaikovsky, a recording, and I quite like that. I can listen to that forever.
Yeah, I like Vivaldi, the classics, Four Seasons, but I also like a lot of like really intense dance dubstep tracks, but that's for like when I'm working. Yeah, exactly. And I'll be like, yeah. Or if I'm like running or something at the gym, I'll listen to Onomonoguchi or some sort of nerdy, techie, high pitch, high energy thing.
When I go running, I listen to Tchaikovsky, and I try to run in time with the Swan Lake.
Toot That would be funny to see you walking around like that in a little tutu.
I'm not that delicate in my movements, so I don't think I would be able to. But what were you about to say about jazz?
It just seems like music that I sort of hear.
Yeah, it does seem like music. I agree.
Yeah, it seems like music, but I think it's got a secret Nazi agenda. No, it's
the Nazis hated jazz.
That's true.
Surely you must know that Hitler hated jazz.
He smashed.
Stalin hated jazz. The one dictator who loved jazz was Mussolini.
No, really? He's
Yeah.
Jazzy guy.
Yeah. Mussolini was completely jazz. I mean, I think I would like Mussolini.
Hey, Mussolini, turn that fucking jazz music off. Yes,
Was that a
Mussolini.
Jamaican or an Italian accent? Hey, Mussolini, turn that jazz music
that was
off.
Hitler.
So that was a German accent.
Mussolini, turns off some music. That's what I'd say.
Yeah, but I also think Mussolini always to me sounded like the name of a pasta.
Yeah, it sounded like the name of bread to me. Or like
Mussolini pasta. It sort of has mussels and mozzarella on it.
And some Alfredo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's quite delicious.
Dostoevsky. That sounded like some sort of herb.
Dostoevsky wasn't a dictator.
No.
I hope you know that.
No.
Because I don't think we should unfairly accuse historical figures of being dictators.
Wasn't? What about his Hans Funkmeyer? He sounds pretty menacing.
I never heard of that man.
Oh really? Oh, you should check. He's a really good stop motion animator. But that's a different thing.
That's much more specific than Dostoevsky.
I don't know. I don't know what Dostoevsky did. Don't ask me. I probably should. But
it depends on what they teach you in that stupid college of yours.
We don't learn about what. I don't know. I should look it up. I'll look it up later.
Yeah, but yeah, do you have a favorite band?
Queen. I really like Queen.
That's a very controversial choice.
Really? Why
Yeah,
so?
yeah. Queen are absolutely hated.
What?
Yeah. But they are absolutely. They have absolutely no mainstream success whatsoever.
No, that's true. They were a little-known band. You might have heard of them, Queen. They had some song called like Bohemian Raps Steady or something. I don't know. It was...
and Don't Stop Me Then.
Yeah, Don't Stop Me Today.
And Radio Gugu.
Yeah, and I Want to Break Out. That was...
and Somebody to Not Love.
And We Are the Winners of the World.
And we will
stone
you.
Yeah, classic. We will stone you. We will get stoned on you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Dude Looked Like a Lady, and Hey Jude. They did all those.
And the guitarist was called Brian June, and the singer was called Freddie Venus.
I think. Yeah, it was like Frank Leadface. I think.
I was going for the whole planet route and not the metal.
Oh, wow.
Because I suspect that was Freddie Mercury's idea. And I think he was going, I'm going to name myself after the metal.
Well, Led Zeppelin. Metals are popular.
Well, Led Zeppelin is because the idea of their band was, like a lead balloon.
Right.
It was a stupid idea. It was an enormously stupid idea. So it was like a Led Zeppelin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like this. Yeah. I can see that. What about the Beatles? They were named after bugs.
The Beatles were named after bugs, yes.
Yes. They never dressed up as bugs, which was upsetting.
I think they did in their early career in Hamburg.
Maybe they
when
did.
They used to play in the beginning.
Dressed up as bugs.
And all the Germans would go, oh, look at that, the English people in.
Ooh,
I can't do German accent either. Look at that English people in the bugs costumes. Oh, how
Fraulein,
lovely.
Look at the English. They're dressed as bugs. Oh.
And then they would play, for some reason I can't think of a Beatles song now. You say hello.
Oh, I almost said All the
goodbye.
Ladies Love It. I don't know why I thought that. That's not a song they did. That's not a song that exists.
No.
Here Comes the Moon. They did.
Little darling, you've been.
It's been a lonely long
winter.
Yeah.
Little darling.
It
smile
feels like
turning through
since
the
it's been here. We're singing different.
Here comes the sun.
And it's alright.
Here comes the sun.
And I say,
it's alright.
Yeah.
Goodbye. This is enough.
We should just like end on a slow fade out of that.
Yeah.
That would
it's
be good.
alright. Sun, sun, sun. Here we go.
Here we go.
That's what they sing.
It's here we
Sun.
come, isn't it? Sun, 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 here we come. Yeah, it's something.
Yeah, it maybe here we come.
Here we can.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Sun, sun, sun. Here it comes.
Yeah.
It's alright.